All right, it's another week where Tuesday we decide not to do a show because there's nothing going on, and by Thursday there's like too much going on.
Blowing up.
It's
Blow up the
blown up.
spot.
Uh, this is USfanTV. We are not. What are the name of the radio guys on Family Guy?
Oh
Boner in
God,
the
I don't.
butt or something like that. We're not.
Some,
We're not those guys. Um, but we've got La Liga and this whole thing, which we'll talk about whether it's a good thing or not.
coming to America,
We've got
Liga.
We've got the crew situation. We're not going to charge you to watch this show, but everything else
We're
soccer
not
related,
gonna charge you.
everything wiener in the butt. That's it, Hunter. Uh, uh, Everything else soccer related is basically you got to pay now. It seems like that's the way it's going. So we're going to talk about that. Uh, Gio Reyna, uh, lots of other stuff that I don't have written down, but we'll talk. I'm sure will pop into my head during the show. It's going to be great. But first, I got to get this out of the way. I'm still thinking about it. That Jurgen Klopp celebration is one of the greatest.
his his look at my nuts.
I think it's the greatest coach celebration I've ever seen. It's amazing. Like it's better. Like I'm overanalyzing it every time I watch it, but like my favorite part is that he does like he looks down and he kind of looks down again in I'll try to do it
Yeah.
here like that. Like the double look really spoke to me.
Ryan says best ever. Can you do the Italia Lee thing?
No.
Who?
Um,
What?
but yeah, I just thought that was an amazing way to welcome back the Premier League. They look good
Yeah,
too. I know we hate Liverpool on this show,
I
especially
certainly
you
do.
do. I kind of I like them kind of like I'm an Arsenal fan, so I don't really want to pull for Liverpool, but they're fun to watch. I like them because of Klopp. Really, I mean, I wouldn't like them other than that, but they're fun to watch. I mean, that's the way they were kind of last year too. It's either it's like really entertaining, or it's like a terrible loss to
It
Burnley or
it
something.
is nuts that they could get rid of someone like Coutinho, who Coutinho was in was one of those guys that it was like, yeah, I don't like him, but at the same time, like I'm kind of a fan of his. Like that dude's awesome, and it was like they got rid of him, and it's like, oh, they became even better. Like, how, are you kidding me? How is this possible?
Robert writes, pour one out for the under 20 women's team who bombed out of their World Cup, which
Yeah,
speaks to your theory that the rest of the world is very quickly catching
yeah.
the U.S. in the women's side of things.
To me, it's that. Well, I read something about it, like I guess confirmation bias. I was reading something from someone who kind of was
You only
stating
read things from
opinions
people? Yeah.
similar, yeah, similar to my feelings. And what they noted was the reason the women's team's been so good is that just like NCAA players, there's already more. There are more registered women's soccer players in the U.S. than the rest of the world combined.
That's a
The
thing.
NCAA alone, like at all levels, so like D1, D2, D3, NAIA, I'll just count it all together as one. College athletics, college soccer provides more athletes at top level than like any 10 countries, at least. Probably like 90% of the countries we play. It's ridiculous how many they produce. But the big thing is, women's soccer now, as it's actually being treated with respect, kind of in the rest of the world, or in much of like the developed Western world, where so many of the top leagues already are for men, I should say. As they're treating the women's game in a similar vein, all of a sudden the women are playing much better. They're producing results similar then to the men's teams, at least in terms of the same teams are like the best men's teams are those nations will also have the best women's teams soon, or at least it'll be pretty similar. The U.S. still produces our best female athletes through the college system, and much like our problem with producing men that way, you end up about 4 years too late. And you played too few games and you had too little practice and whatever because of all the um, NCAA rules.
And yes, Rob, Wayne Rooney is playing out of his freaking mind for
Yeah.
DC. And my remember last week we had a discussion toward the end of the show where I'm like, has there ever been like a MLS team that's re-energized a city and turned it around? DC's making a case. I did not expect Wayne Rooney to be Steven Gerrard level bad when he came here, but I don't think I expected him to be this good. He's the defensive play on the open net where he tackled, won the ball, turned, and
Yeah.
bombed a ball down the field for an assist was incredible. Um, and then 2 goals. What was it? 2 goals last night. He's
Yeah, I mean to be playing like this at his age and at um I don't know, this point in his career, it's unheard of. Um and it's not like he was lighting things up before. I mean, he wasn't playing terribly. He'd had to drop back when he was still with United because he just didn't have the speed to still play kind of a full attacker, but he could still. I mean, he still had a vision for the game. He still had quality out there, but yeah, I mean, you were definitely seeing it appeared to be the end of his career, and now he kind of looks like I don't know the player of old, the player maybe United was intending to get when they signed him from Everton originally.
Leipzig says he's locked in TJ's minivan, which is a problem because TJ's going to be gone for a while in the army. So can we get him? He's got Sunny D and Lay's. Can we get him some other stuff? I mean, we might need to crack a window too.
No
Is this like one of
Pringles.
those? Is it like
Yeah,
one of those things where you see the dog in the hot car and you go
there's a
smash
dog.
and there's a dog and let the dog out? Do we need to do that?
Yeah.
TJ, I mean, you're right, Hunter. It's despicable, is what it is. Um, all right, so let's talk about this La Liga thing because I assume that it seems like from what Twitter was showing me, and Twitter is obviously indicative of the whole world. Um, this isn't well liked in Europe, but I guess we don't know exactly what the deal is, but we know that there is some sort of plan that has not actually been approved by really anyone who needs to approve it. That we're speculating it's MLS style, where a game a year, well,
You
maybe two
mean
down the
NFL
road.
style?
Yeah, what did I say?
You said MLS, but
MLS, they don't know what they're doing. NFL style. Like when the NFL goes to London, you take your La Liga equivalent of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they give up a home game in exchange for money, and then their away opponent happens to be Barcelona or Real Madrid or somebody that somebody actually wants to see, and one game a year is brought over here to the U.S. for us to watch it instead of these ICC games that no one really cares about, and the hoopla around them is better than the actual crap on the field. This would be something that maybe people would want to watch.
it
I don't
is.
know if we
And
need this though.
I mean, I get what they're trying to do because the EPL's made such inroads, having 20 plus years, really about 30 years of TV coverage in the U.S., 15 to 20 of like solid coverage. The Bundesliga is making inroads now. They have a mainstream national broadcaster. So I think they're trying to somehow catch up. One of the problems they face is that they're really only on BN,
And
and
BN isn't on certain cable systems that like
BN is
yeah,
barely anywhere. They
and
have
they're
they
in a
reached
fight
something
with
like yeah. Now they're off Comcast too,
right. Yep.
and even before that, they were only on like 25% of cable services or something.
I only got them in standard def on Comcast, and now I don't get them at all. So
I can get them, but I have to pay separately, so I don't get them. Um, but yeah, it's since they moved everything over there, it's not they're just not easy to find. So I'm sure part of it is they want to build their brand and they realize that this is a huge market for them. Why not try before they completely lose it or before like, Italy or France or somebody also moves in, try and get in there and try to be number two or something, or at worst number three in terms of viewership. So I get it in that regard. You want to build a base. You want to. You also want to just drum up. There are tons of people here who could perhaps have children that could play there, or maybe themselves could play for some of these teams. So you want to get your toehold in there, so that you have something in case the next Messi happens to come from the United States or something.
I guess I sort of get it, and to be able to see, Messi play for Barcelona in a real game here would be kind of cool. If it was close to me, I would probably shell out some money and go.
Mm-hmm.
But and you and I have both been to games, several games in Europe, and to me, the stadium and the atmosphere are a bigger deal than the quality of the game on the field.
Yeah.
Being in that environment is what you go for. And no matter what we do, we ship those games over here. We can't replicate that
Yeah,
environment.
no, that's absolutely true. I suspect it will be a bit like those NFL games in London, where it's like there's a bunch of people there who may be wearing any team's jersey,
Yeah.
and the Packers have never played there, but I always see people in like Packers and Steelers jerseys in the stands. Um, so I could see it being something like that. The only real detail that I've seen is just that they admit there won't be an El Clasico here, which that seems
Of course
foolish to
not.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
and then when it was announced, I saw this is the end of football. This is there. It's only a matter of time before El Clasicos are played here or in Beijing or wherever. I I don't think that's. I think that's
yeah,
maybe
to me that's watering down your product too much.
that's not. Yeah, I don't think we need to be scared about that. And I wouldn't want that as an
Yeah,
American. I wouldn't want that. Keep it where it's supposed to
yeah.
be. I don't even know if I want this one game a year. Like I said, I'd probably go, but I feel like these sorts of games need to be where they're going to be. And if you're going to bring two bottom feeders, no one's going
See,
to come.
I don't think it'll be that because
No,
they don't
it doesn't
have
make
the
sense.
global brand affiliation or global brand strength of, say, maybe the NFL. Actually, it's maybe not even the brand so much as the marketing behind it that like the NFL does, that they can just kind of send sort of crappy games to Europe.
But
And
the NFL is the only
yeah,
league in town.
there
If you want to see that sport, that's
that
it.
that was going to be my other point
Yeah.
is there's no challenger. At least to La Liga, there's there are challengers all over Europe. There's a challenger in the U.S. There's a challenger in Mexico. There are other options for your viewership, but I mean, I'm all for more games that I can have a more realistic shot of seeing than traveling all the way to Spain. So
Yeah. And we talked about this over the summer with the ICC games. The buildup is great. Having the
yeah,
players here is great, and the fan stuff that they do, and the environment outside the game. And when you actually get in there, it sucks. It's
yeah.
not worth paying to see. I mean,
When you figure, yeah, I mean, like I noted at the Dortmund City game, I don't remember the last time I sat that far away from from say fields, the sporting whatever the court, the field. Um, I don't know that that was the farthest I've sat in a long time, years and years and years, and it was still expensive.
people are asking about ESPN Plus, which would be a nice segue into the streaming rights thing.
It would.
So it was announced this week that the FA Cup games are going to be added to the ESPN Plus lineup, which currently has what? It has Serie A, it has MLS, FA Cup now, and then on top of that, Turner announced that basically the entire Europa League and a good chunk of the Champions League are going to be available for either $3 a match or $80 a year. NBC last year, and we did a show on this, did this whole gold package thing that
Yeah.
wasn't even working to start. That's $50 a year, right? To see
Mm-hmm.
it, everybody's going to, have to pay to see their team at some point with that. Yeah. On one hand, I think this is a decent thing because I mean not some of these prices, but if I don't want to have cable, the only reason I do have cable, I mean, my wife works for a company that's owned by cable, so I get it for free. So I have it because it's really cheap. But um, if I didn't have that luxury, I probably wouldn't have it except for soccer.
Yeah,
So and a few other sports. So I guess I like the ability to um, get these things separately. I don't like that if I want to see I'm used to seeing all of it at this point, and now you're pulling it away from me and making me pay for it individually. The ESPN thing is not that bad. I will say $5 a month for what you get seems pretty legit, but whether it's 50 for the Premier League or 80 for the Champions League, that kind of sucks.
yeah. I don't like the nickel and diming, and at this point, it's more like I don't know, tens and twentying. But what really upsets me about it, I guess, and this is where I feel like it's really cheating, is things like gold. Don't like if you have NBC Gold, you don't get all the games.
No,
You
you only
only
get
get
the
the games that
bottom
are
third.
on
Yeah.
Gold.
Right.
So you still have to have some other
Right.
way to see these games. So they're attempting to make you pay twice in almost every instance, and that's what pisses me off. Like if you want to do something online where you can stream it and you can pay for that, fine. But then let me see everything because frankly, otherwise, I'm not gonna pay any of it. I'm just gonna steal it.
Why are we covering our lips?
I don't know. It's just being
Yes,
funny.
you're going to go
Let's be
find it.
honest. Yeah, I'm not going to pay any of it, but
Go to the Reddit that has
I'm going to
the.
find a way to watch those games. Oh, yeah. And so now you've lost all your money. Like, you're just making it. You're encouraging more people to cheat. What are they going to do? Come crack down like Napster or something back in the day?
It's yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. The everybody's doing this now, and it's. I think the New York Times did something where if you wanted to see everything, it's like $720 a year or something. With your cable packages on top of that, you'd have to get all these different streaming packages, and then on top of that, like I have the issue that Comcast doesn't carry Fox Sports 2, so anytime Dortmund or Bayern or one of those teams or last year Champions League games were on Fox Sports 2, I wouldn't get to see them. Um, Now at least I don't the with Turner doing the $3 a game option, that's kind of cool, I guess. But then a lot of the time I'll have Champions League on during the day when I'm working or dealing with my kids or something. If I'm paying $3 to watch a game, I'm going to want to sit and watch it. And I don't have the luxury of sitting and watching it for 2 hours during the middle of the day, usually. So I don't know how often I'm going to actually pay. And then now you're making your sport less accessible to somebody who likes it. And I don't know. I don't want to say they're going to lose me because I think I'm stuck with it at this point, but it's, I don't like this very much.
To me, it's sort of like when news sites put their stuff behind paywalls. It's like the problem with that is you've just lost your revenue from the commercials there because I'll go find it somewhere else where I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like you didn't
Yeah.
you didn't really solve anything. You conned a few people into paying you, sure, and
Except for
maybe,
The
but
Athletic, which is hiring every soccer writer I've ever
yeah,
liked at this point, pretty much. I might have to break down and pay for that. I do have ESPN Plus, and that's because it's $5 a month. That's not so bad. So maybe I'll move on from that. I don't see myself even with Arsenal in the Europa League and the Europa League being solely on um, the what is it BR Live or whatever.
yeah. I
I
don't
don't
remember what they're
see
calling it, but
myself paying $80 for the year. Maybe some of the individual games I watch, or I'll go to a bar where I will spend way more money than I would I would on paying for the whole year, which is I guess another story. But yeah, it's no good, man. It's no good. But if you are a cord cutter and you just want to watch some games and not have to pay for cable, you get some of these. But like you said, not everything is on everything. You would always need a cable package to watch some of the games. So Hashtag Big Money Pat. It's amazing. All right. We've talked about that. Where are we going now?
Well, Christian wants us to talk about Josie getting attention from Liga and Serie A.
I think Josie's agent's drumming up things to
Those do seem like leaps for him at this point in his career,
yeah.
especially considering the fact that he didn't fare particularly well in England. Um, I could see where maybe Lyon is a little more likely. Um, Serie A,
What do we got?
I don't know. That one, I think. Well, maybe it works out for him because maybe he goes to a team that the matches are set for him to win. But I think our take on him in general in the past was always that he should. Well, before recently, before he kind of started, um, peaking or whatever, was that he should go
It's
to
good
like
like
maybe Spain, maybe Portugal, or maybe just back to Holland.
I think he should stay in Toronto and be a Toronto legend. That's what I think.
My problem is just that he's 28. Now is certainly the time for his last contract. Has he shown enough that, like, I don't know, has he shown enough that truly teams in either of those leagues want him? Like, Liga, okay, there are certainly guys who score well in that league who don't necessarily succeed in other leagues. It is in many instances, scores are more like a scorers league. Um, Serie A doesn't tend to be. Usually got to be pretty awesome to make it there. Is Josie has moments, but does he have the full resume to pull that off? I would tend to say no.
You know what I care a lot more about than Josie at this point? A lot of things, but Tim Weah scoring goals for PSG.
Yeah, yeah,
He's making it hard to ship him off or bench him at this point, even
yeah.
with the firepower that is ahead of him in the lineup.
I mean, he'd still get benched, but at least he would get more opportunities, in cup games or at the end of a game if the outcome is no longer in doubt. It's hard to say he won't get playing time. I mean, even if one of his goals, I mean, two goals in two games now, even if one of them is uh, essentially a keeper's mistake, you could almost
Yeah,
count it as an
yeah.
own goal. But even in that case, it's hard to bench a guy, or anyway, it's hard to disparage a guy who's scoring.
You know what? The segues are on fire tonight. Speaking of young talent,
Woo-hoo.
Gio Reyna's going to Borussia Dortmund, apparently,
Yeah,
which I don't think there's any place I'd rather a young player go who might be a star for us at this point. So good for him. And apparently they've got him a Portuguese passport. So, you know, like Pulisic, he'll be able to play before he's 18. So that's awesome. He's a guy, and I'm basing this solely on things I've heard and who his dad is, but he's a guy I think there's a lot of potential there, and Borussia Dortmund's a place that can bring that potential out. So that's a fantastic move if it does end up happening. Do you have thoughts on that, Chris?
I do like it. Supposedly, according to the rumors anyway, he's going to sign in November after turn 16. So that's cool. It would be awesome that, yeah, with UEFA passport, or an EU passport, I guess I should say, he could play then he could actually represent the team before he turns 18, and he won't have to worry about things like caps or anything to make sure he can get a work permit. So that's cool.
People are asking whether Zach Steffen's the future for us in net. Maybe.
I think you have to put him there right now.
As of this moment, yes. We'll see.
I think the next year is a big thing for kind of all the guys on the list, because realistically, not only do we have all the friendlies coming up this fall, and potentially now one more against Peru,
Oh,
um,
yawning.
we have we have meaningful games starting in less than a year now. Hopefully, we have a manager at some point. We'll discuss something about manager maybe at the end, but you know, he does look like the guy who's in the lead right now, but there are a lot of games for guys to try their hands at. No pun intended there. Over the next few months, and
It's well done.
when do we
Intend
have
that pun.
when do we have a manager in place?
Also,
And then who wins his trust?
just
Or her, I
selfishly
guess.
for us, this Peru in Tampa or whatever thing is not Argentina in Chicago, which is what we were hearing. So that seems to be dead now. Maybe would not be fun.
Well, either way, Messi says he's not playing in the fall, so
But that I just
which I
wanted
wasn't expecting anyway.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's apparently putting some pressure on Argentina to actually shape things up so that maybe they could try for like the next Copa America. It's hard to. I mean, he'd be 35, I think, the next World Cup. It's on the one hand, it's hard to see a guy of his age playing it at that point. For someone like Argentina, on the other hand, he's effing Messi. So if he's still, if he's still in shape enough to get out there, I don't see how you can necessarily keep him at home. So I know he wants to win something. It's been a long time since Argentina's won an actual international trophy. They would like to win something too, and I'm sure. I mean, you can tell by some of the talk around Messi. Part of the reason he wants some of this is he wants some of the pressure off his back. That you'll never be Maradona because hey, he won stuff.
Yeah. Although at that point, just invite the pressure. You're one of the two best players in the world. I don't think anybody argues that at this point. So,
he doesn't. He's not technically retired. He just says he's taking a Donovan. He hasn't called it a sabbatical. He just says he's not.
He's not in
play
Thailand.
Yeah,
in Cambodia or wherever Landon went. He's still playing for Barcelona.
In Cambodia.
It's more of a Tim Howard what he's doing right now.
I suppose. Yeah.
A wait and see approach. The crew are getting jobbed.
Yeah, possibly.
This week the Austin City Council voted to bring MLS to Austin, and the crew's owner Precourt seems pretty excited about that.
I did enjoy. If you haven't seen the video, there's video on all over Twitter of a councilwoman from Austin saying that something like, "I hope you'll be a good and faithful partner to Austin, not like you were to the people of Columbus." Like right to his face, because he's like all happy at first. He's like, "Oh yeah, I will be." And she goes, "Not like you were to the people in Columbus." He's like, "Oh, I will be." It was sort of like when they asked. Some reporter said, "What would you say to the people of Columbus right now?" And he just went and turned around and walked away. Like, what an asshole! Screw that guy.
They went from,
if he does take the team, and by all indications, it really looks like he's going to take the team. I hope they fail. Like I hope they lose every game, and it sucks because I like Austin, and I'd like Austin to have a team.
The funny thing
probably
is,
awesome, but
from what I understand, the stadium is going to be like as far from downtown Austin as the Crew Stadium is from downtown Columbus, and
it's even farther.
Ridiculous traffic.
Yeah.
Everybody's moving there.
They're saying it's going to be like 10 miles outside of town or something. If you haven't been to Crew Stadium, I mean, it's maybe 3 from downtown. Yeah. Like it's not very far.
Not that bad.
It's not like maybe a quick walk, but it's walkable. We walked most of it after the last game because you couldn't get an Uber or anything afterwards.
I said this after, when we first started USfanTV, after we lost there, I felt like for us to go back there as a national team, maybe we shouldn't because of the loss. But on top of that, the stadium felt, in my third US-Mexico game there, it felt really small for the first time. It felt like the stadium needed to be bigger and it needed to be overhauled. And so there's no doubt that Columbus needed to either overhaul that stadium or maybe build a new one. And I hate saying that because it's not that old. It seems like
Well,
a
I
giant
mean, didn't
waste.
it open in '95? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not
By
new by any means.
I
By
don't
stadium
yeah, by stadium,
life cycles, it's old,
but
and especially by that kind of stadium.
I still find that ridiculous that we're, leaving stadiums after 20 years. But
Yeah,
um I guess that's a different story. But yeah, they needed to do something, but it seemed like they had people in town who were willing to make that happen, and he's just made up his mind a long time ago. So, um, yeah, as a city, I mean, I like both cities actually. I probably like Austin a little better, but um, I don't want the team to go there.
yeah, no,
Columbus deserves a team, and I have zero prediction as to whether it will succeed because I don't know now. I don't know whether I was so wrong about Atlanta. I haven't the slightest idea whether a team's going to succeed in the city. The fact that there's no other competition in town except for UT sports, maybe it will. Um, I don't know, but like you said, I kind of hope it doesn't because of the way it got there. And
yeah.
that's no disrespect to Austin because I like Austin, but um,
Now, Ohio's attorney general still says that under the contract that Precourt Sports and Sports Ventures or whatever signed to buy the team, they still have to give notice of the move and quote unquote reasonable opportunity for local investors to buy it. Now, having said that, I mean they're using it as a way to say like, oh, you can't just move a team out of town without giving us a chance. Having said that, he wasn't a local when he bought the team, so they they have allowed outsiders to buy the team before. So could they? Is the legal precedent that strong there? Yeah, I don't know, but supposedly it is in the contract that you can't just ship the team out. You got to give an opportunity to someone else to buy it. So there is still a chance. I know MLS downplayed Mark Wahlberg's comments that he was interested in owning him. So we'll see what happens there. But it would be
did you just make
funny.
it funny? Did you just make a
No,
joke?
no, no. Like for real, he was in town. I guess because he's considering opening a Wahlburgers there, and
Wait, hold on.
you've not heard this?
We for many years have made fun of the
Oh,
crew as having a logo of Marky Mark and the
yeah,
Funky Bunch, the
yeah.
old logo.
I always called them the Marky Mark and the Funky Crew because the old
You're
logo with the hard
serious?
hats.
Marky Mark made a comment that he
I swear to God, I swear to God. If you guys have not seen this, you can find it. It was just a few days ago. It's all over the internet. Uh, he said somebody asked him like, "Would you be interested in buying them?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool." He's like, "I got totally into soccer during the World Cup. My friend Bob Kraft owns a team,
from
so
Boston, Bob Crafts from Boston. It's gonna be great. I'll produce Entourage.
yeah, say hello to your mother for me." Um, but yeah, now MLS like downplays it. So perhaps he was just doing it because somebody said it. And he was like, "Yeah, no, like why not?"
I'm
And
really rich if you don't know.
yeah, like he has no clue what the finances behind it really are. So he was just like, "Yeah, sure," and just no idea what he's getting into. And so now he's like, "Oh shit, no, maybe not." Or who knows? Maybe he meant it, and MLS is downplaying it because it's like, yeah, we want to ship this team out. But no, to me, when I heard it, I thought it was a joke, and then I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember anyone making these jokes besides us. Because yeah, I always thought the old hard hat logo that they had looked like uh, Marky Mark and like his old Mark Wahlberg in his old Marky Mark rapping days, like from Good Vibration or something. Like
Donnie D on the backup.
drug free, so with the crack up.
Christian wants to know if this means that Greg Berhalter's gonna shift his way into the U.S. national team job. I mean, it would.
I think he is a leading candidate. He may even be the leading candidate. He is friends
Caleb Porter
with.
does not think he's the leading candidate.
True, true. Caleb Porter
Caleb Porter
thinks
thinks
Peter Vermees should be.
Yeah, Peter Vermees is the leading candidate, and Caleb Porter is the number 2 candidate. I think one of those 3 names, or maybe Vanny, will probably end up being the head coach. Um, I'm now thinking less and less that we're going to go get some European
I
reformer.
don't like that supposedly we have had contact with Sampaoli because I don't think that's a good
I do not
move.
want that. I would much rather an
Yeah.
MLS than that.
Supposedly he wants the Mexico job.
That would
Um,
be amazing.
I, as much as I think everyone kind of accepts that Osorio's probably going to Colombia, he hasn't yet. And part of me says, if it like when it's so kind of cut and dried that someone should end up somewhere and it just doesn't keep happening, that tells me that there are other teams, other countries in there, like also trying to negotiate with them. Why couldn't we be one of them? But anyway, I was going to suggest, and I don't think we talked about this. We didn't talk about this beforehand. I was going to suggest maybe next week we should really focus on who the next coach could be, and that we would post something out and take your comments and your thoughts, your picks for that, and like the women's GM, because
You know what we
that's
should
another
do?
position that has not been filled yet.
We should seed a bracket,
Ooh,
and then we would let you guys vote throughout the show on who wins the different matchups, and then we will decide who. And this will be, it'll be definitive. It'll be. I mean, we just give them the job right then. We will decide who the next coach is. What do you think of that? That would
I'm
require
in.
one of us doing that work ahead of the show, though,
Indeed, indeed.
which is a big if.
I did finally get the EPL fantasy league going.
Correctly?
Yeah, yeah, it's all working.
And
Yeah,
then
I noticed you're not a part of it.
Sandra has a Bundesliga.
Sandra has a Bundesliga one. I'm in it. I
Did
thought,
she? Where did she tweet it?
yeah, it was in comments from the last show. I could probably
Okay.
Put it on
We should
Twitter
all
as
join
well.
Sandra's Bundesliga league.
It's called Friends of USfanTV, and the passcode is USfanTV.
There's no point in starting our own. We should just join Sandra's. We would have a real, actual German administering our USfanTV Bundesliga league. I might join that.
I'm in. I did it. I finished my setup yesterday or today. I don't remember.
Ooh, Hunter's talking about Lori again.
Oh God.
Is she watching?
I don't know.
Is she nearby? Can you yell to her right now to come on the show?
No. She every time I tell her that Hunter that you say this, Hunter, she gets like weirded out that someone's like stalking her or something.
She does a little giggle, but she secretly likes it.
She's like, why are they talking about me?
Is that how she talks?
Just like that. That's her voice. Yeah.
What's left?
We should have hit while we were talking about Tim Weah scoring. Weston McKennie also scored.
He did.
Schalke.
He did.
Yeah, with a nice run through the box. Like that was a good job reading the play and sprinting into the box to finish that shot against Fiorentina last week. So big, hopefully big news on the start of the season then when for him at Schalke. A couple other Americans moving to Germany. Sebastian Soto just signed with Hanover. Maybe he'll be friends with Bobby Wood.
A friend for Bobby Wood.
I'm all fine. I'm all good with multiple Americans being at a team because everybody talks about how hard it is to be like the only like, native English speaker there or something, and kind of the only person like you don't have any ties to home or anything. I'm all for guys not being alone, so I'm cool with that. And then Sebastian Soto. I'm sorry, I hit that. Richie Ledesma from Real Salt Lake's youth team is most likely moving to Holland. That's all the rumor now. He just trialed at PSV. Supposedly, he liked a picture of someone saying that he was signing with PSV on Instagram. So the indications are that he will soon be at DeMarcus Beasley's old team.
Excellent. That is excellent news. Thank you for that report.
Yeah. And Jeff Cameron, nice job there, Christian. Yeah, Cameron's probably leaving Stoke and maybe on his way to Germany as well.
He'll fit right in. Very direct, guns blazing. Just that'll be
He'll
that'll be.
start singing like "I'm a real American," like in the locker room or something. Yeah.
Jeff will do well there.
Wabi booed.
I still want to go. I still want to know what's going on with Cameron. I want to know.
He he seems like an odd dude based on the all the things that came out
Oh,
over the last 9 months or whatever it is now.
I would say so. So yeah, that's all of this is fantastic news. Fantastic news. We're what's your fantasy Premier League? Alex wants to know. You put it somewhere. Did you tweet it? I've seen it.
I
You put
did
it on the
tweet
social
it.
media.
I put it out on the social medias, and I will the social medias. I was sure to say there. Let me pull it up here, and I will tell you it is
You're just gonna read numbers.
USfanTV again this year. Yeah, I'm not going to read off the numbers, so you'll have to go. I'll tweet it out here in a second, so everyone can find it again.
Ooh, Robert asked about the Amazon series on Man City. Absolutely, yes. I cannot wait to watch that. Is it a series or is a single like documentary film? Are they doing it like the Juve thing where it's a number of episodes? Or I saw the trailer for it though, and it looked even better than the Juve one. Which the Juve one, if they continue to do it, will be fantastic with Ronaldo there. So I love that these things are happening though. Although I will say the Amazon one seemed like kind of all pep all the time, which is really what I would think you would do.
We
Anyways,
know what you need. All pep, all night.
you know,
Only right here on.
Pep and I both are not only bald, we both share a birthday.
Ho ho.
He's older than me, but we were born on the same day.
You know, speaking of like all being the same day, I was sad that Aretha Franklin passed this morning. Um, Today's also the day that Elvis Presley died. It's also the day that Robert Johnson died. So it is like a
And
hardcore.
you're missing one.
Like,
The
what am I
Sultan
missing?
of Swat died today on this
Well,
day.
true. Technically, also so did Bela Lugosi, but I was going,
Ooh.
I was going with
Only
just like
musicians.
major musicians, like musical legends. Today's like
Is
a
it your
massive
half
day
birthday or something? What's the connection to you?
to me.
Because your birthday has all of the tragedies on it.
Oh no, mine would be in October.
That's
Uh,
true. There must be some.
Thierry Henry, his birthday. It's like I can't remember if it's the 12th, it's the 14th, it's the 16th, maybe the 18th. It's somewhere within a few days of
We're
now.
nearing Thierry Henry's birthday.
We may have just passed it. I just know it's sometime like within a week of today, one way or the other. I don't remember exactly what it is.
Ryan's asking about my Hattie B's Hot Chicken shirt. You can buy it if you go to Hattie B's Hot Chicken in Nashville, Tennessee, or one of their other. I think don't they have one in
They're
Atlanta
also
now?
now in Atlanta and I think Mobile, Alabama. I have asked, will they come to like Chicago or Milwaukee or anything, but they have not responded. We are USfanTV, are official fans of
Oh, we very
Hattie
much like it.
B's.
We very
Yeah,
much like it. Yeah, I've told the
and
story that we.
everyone we send there
Yeah,
also says they like it. There we go. USfanTV just retweeted our EPL information.
you're
So if you are interested, go there and check it out.
excellent. We do have Twitter. It is USFanTV at USFanTV. I don't have to say it at the
Boom.
end of the show now. They know me my name. I've only eaten there. Well, we ate there twice when I went to Nashville with you. The first time I went to both times I went to Nashville was with you, right?
Yes.
And then we ate there once the second time. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So all three times I've eaten at Hattie B's Hot Chicken was with you.
Indeed. I would like to be there in like 3 weeks again to have more, but I have other plans this fall that will involve me going to U.S. matches elsewhere. So I will not be
Oh, are
at
you
a
prepared
Mexico
to
game
announce?
in Nashville. I'm going to the England game.
You got to meet up with Jack.
Oh yeah, maybe.
He does not live in London.
doing the Arsenal England
But I think he
in a
lives like
week
an hour
match.
south of London.
No, I thought I think he's an Everton supporter. I thought he
He's an
lived
Everton
somewhere up
supporter,
that
but he
way.
does not live up there. He does not live by Liverpool. I asked him that.
Hmm.
Um, I mistook him for an Evertonian. Well, he is an Evertonian, but he's not a Liverpudlian. Um, he lives somewhere south of London, I believe. Southampton,
That would
around
be
there.
fairly far south,
Um, but he'll make the trip for you. I feel
right
like
off
he
to
would.
the end of England,
I feel like he would make the trip for you.
maybe.
So we talked about going to Nashville for the Mexico match, but we both were kind of like, you know, ready to deal with it with that level of because they might win. I don't want to be sad again. I can't do it in person. I'll do it on TV, but I can't do it in
Yeah,
person yet.
yeah.
Um, so I don't know if I'm going to see the U.S. play this year. It's going to be the first year in quite a few that I haven't been to a men's national team game, but that's their fault because they didn't make the World Cup. So I don't feel so bad. When did my hair disappear? It started, this is crazy, like 17 or 18 going away. And then like I got to about 32 or 3 and just decided that's enough. We're just gonna you're done. Just like the show, you're done. And then we got rid of it. And you know what? I like it bald. I only wear the hat because it's kind of become my thing on this show, and I still want to do it without it. But
Your
um,
T hat guy.
I am the hat guy, or hat. I'm not the hat guy. I'm just hat guy. I believe. I
I
don't
just
like
like
to say.
T.
I think we're at the end of this show.
Yeah.
We have this is US Fan TV, and we have places you can visit us on the internet, whether it be a website or Facebook or Twitter, or Instagram. They are all US Fan TV.
Imagine that. We were very creative in our
We have a YouTube
handle
channel that, as of
creation.
last check, had 1,299 subscribers. So one of
Ooh.
you who is new, maybe it's you, the fake American, maybe it's somebody else. I assume most of you are subscribed, but if one of you has not subscribed to the show, you should do so right now and put us over the magical 1,300 mark.
Woo, 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 woo.
Chris, do you have any final words?
I think we've hit it all. So thanks, everybody. You're done.
I would like to thank TJ for serving us in the military. Like I said, the only time we don't make fun of TJ, at least as much, is when he's on military duty. So thanks to him. Hunter, I quit the news because I had 2 kids and my wife was also in the news, and it got to be a little too much. So I might be back in the news at some point, but for now, I'm not. I do this for you. That's what I do.
Just unsubbed. Thanks a lot, Ryan. Sure.
Bastard. All right. We'll see you guys. I assume next week. Who knows at this point? At some point soon. Maybe Tuesday, maybe Thursday. Next week, you're done.